And still to come, is police defunding an unrealistic request? And is it time for the city of Fresno to have an African American as its police chief? The panel will join me next.
Not only holds police accountable and increases transparency, but assists police departments to change the culture.
Basically, we should call this hashtag Sue a Cop. There's a difference here between the type of force that officers are trained to properly use versus a couple of bad apples.
This week, Democratic lawmakers rolling out a package of police reforms, from police oversight to training to limiting lethal force and outright banning police chokeholds. But will it solve police brutality and racial injustice, or could it force police officers to become vulnerable in the line of duty? And that's where we begin the conversation with our panel this week. Let's take roll call. Fresno Unified School Board President Keisha Thomas is here, and the host of the Afternoon Drive on KMJ, Philip Teresi. Thank you both for being here on Sunday Morning Matters.
Thank you.
Thank you both. Thank you, Mr. Teresi.
Well, Keisha, I wanted to start here with you because we heard from Jerry Dyer, mayor-elect. He says defunding police is not realistic. Is that right?
Nothing's ever not realistic. Let's just start there. But let me say this, the police department on campuses are very important. And just so people know, more than 50% of them are African Americans.
Okay, and Philip, what do you think about that? Jerry Dyer says defunding the police, not a realistic goal, something that he doesn't want to do, something he won't do. Is he right?
He's absolutely right. Defunding the police it's not realistic by any standard. Improving services for the police is absolutely necessary. Improving training, mental health services, equipment, and also expanding mental health offerings in the community, period. But getting rid of the police is silly.
Yeah, right. And just so you know, our police on our campuses are specially trained to be SNROs and SROs. They're not trained just to be police officers. They're not only trained through the academy. We train them for those social emotional needs. We train them to be able to befriend kids and to have a good environment where kids are concerned. This is a positive environment that we're trying to create for our kids. So let's just start there. Do things happen? Absolutely. But by no means are they there to put pressure on our kids.
So, Keisha, just as I'm hearing you correctly, because there's been a lot of talk of taking police officers off of school campuses and redirecting them and also resource officers, that is something that, as a school board, you do not want to see. Is that right?
Not as an educator, not as a school board member, not as a former administrator. I do not want to see that happen at all. And I think we're overreaching because of what's happened with George Floyd, because of some of the inequalities that are happening in our community. So I think we're actually overreaching, to say the least.
Well, I want to move here because police reforms, whether it be limiting lethal force and outright banning police chokeholds, California Senator Kamala Harris says some of these measures will curb systemic racism within law enforcement. As we've heard, some Republicans say it will just leave officers vulnerable in the line of duty. What's your take on this, Philip? I'll start with you on this. Police reforms, how much do we need to see?
I think that the question is less a matter of police reform in and of itself than it is providing services to officers and providing funding to departments to be able to take care of the officers and to identify when you've got an officer who's getting out on the ragged edge. We need to spot that, and that person needs training, they need counseling, that they need to be directed back onto the rails. The number of people who go into this line of work with the intention of hurting people is virtually none. but the toll of this job is tremendous, and the lack of respect for that toll is it's worrisome, because once again we kind of steer into neutering the police instead of defunding them, and it's the same bad argument.
Well, Keisha, I want you to talk about the police reforms as well, but also what we saw with George Floyd. That has to be the tip of the iceberg. Is that enough of police brutality when it comes to African Americans?
Absolutely, it's enough is enough. And just so we know, there is an outcry for better policing. There needs to be better policing models. So the tactics and the models should show a community-based policy point, right? So now the Fresno, I watched yesterday and I see City of Fresno has chosen to form a commission, which if I'm not mistaken, if I heard them right, Oliver Baines will be heading that commission. I have great respect for him, and he's been in the trenches, and I look forward to watching that unfold as well as supporting it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting how they detail that commission. I want to end with this on our first panel here, and I asked Mayor-elect Jerry Dyer, is it time for the city of Fresno to hire an African-American as the next police chief? Obviously, the decision will come to Mayor Brand, and obviously, Mayor-elect Jerry Dyer will be involved with that. Now, Mayor-elect Jerry Dyer said it's still the best representative of the community and the best person available that is going to apply for the job. But, Keisha, I'll start with you. Do we need to have an African-American as the police chief?
Well, I think that would be a good start. However, again, I agree with Jerry Dyer. You know, Mark Salazar is a good friend of mine, and I know that he's one of the people who are being considered for this position, and I totally trust him. I trust him with our community. I trust him with our kids. I trust him in his tactics. However, I could definitely look for at least a second in charge to be African American.
Philip, where do you come out on this?
Ms. Thomas and I are in agreement. It has to be the right candidate for the job. If that candidate happens to be African American, that's a fantastic bonus. But I also think that her idea of making sure that in the command structure, that his lieutenants, that his assistant chiefs, deputy chiefs, that there's some representation from those communities is essential, whoever gets the big job.
All right, we're going to cut it there. We're going to cut it there for panel one. Guys, we'll have you back here in a little bit. We're going to talk about race in school districts. We'll be having that in just moments. But coming up, we're going to see about police brutality and the racial injustice that we have seen. But are we going to see the change? A member of California's Black Caucus will join me next.